Good evening, everyone. Here with a preview for the Arca Series race, which is going to be happening tonight. With qualifying has already taken place. The results from qualifying are Carson Brown is going to lead the field to green, followed by Tristan McKee. Those are the front two rows. So just some quick names. This is 150 miles, so it's 150 laps. Just some names to scroll through to keep an eye on if you watch tonight. It'll be on FS1 at actually the race is going on right now. I'm behind, but some names to watch. I'm looking at Isabella Robusto. She's starting a little deeper in the field at 12th, and I like the way she drives. Haley Deegan's always somebody to watch. This is mostly a bunch of young people, so a lot of these names aren't going to really do a whole lot for anybody. So just something to kind of keep an eye on. Let's see what's going on. They're already 25 laps in. Let's see if I can get an update on who's where. Let me see if I can get y'all an update real quick on who is in first. And it's, well, actually Carson Brown is in first right now. So that may have not been the starting lineup, to be honest. I'll have to go try to do some digging on that. But either way, that's going on now. These are a bunch of young people that you're really not going to hear for a couple of years from, just young people. So we got a weird thing going here too with Indycar being at the same track as the NASCAR series. So it's going to be a little interesting. Some of the names to watch for Indycar, which I'll give you their schedule real quick. Let me flip over to that page and I'll get that out for y'all. Indycar will be cranking up at, believe it or not, 8 a.m. on FS2 on Friday for practice number 1. Then they'll do qualifications at noon on Friday on FS2 also. Then they do a highline practice. And again, I'm not 100% familiar with IndyCar, so I don't know what that means, but that's at 2:30. And then they get a final practice at 3 p.m. All of that's going to be on FS2. And then you roll over, and on Saturday on Fox, the broadcast is at 1 o'clock is the start time and 1:20 is the race time for the Goodyear race. It's 250 laps with the Indy cars. What I find weird with it is you have the Arca series racing now, which is running on general tires. Then tomorrow you'll have the Indy cars on track with their Firestone tires. And then you're going to turn around and have the NASCAR O'Reilly series, and their stuff is going to be on Goodyear tires. And then on Saturday, you have the race, which puts more Firestone down. Plus, you have the Cup cars with their Goodyear tires. So you're going to have all these different rubber compounds on the track, which could make it a little interesting at the beginning of runs. But after a few laps, that gets kind of cleaned up. So not too big of a deal. But going to be a little interesting to keep an eye on that. You got to keep an eye on Alex Palou, Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward. You got to keep an eye on those guys in the IndyCar series. So we're going to look at that a little bit. Like I said, the Arca Menards, a bunch of them are just younger people that are trying to get a footing and make a name for themselves. So kind of fun to watch if you want to look at what the future of the sport could look like. But the races are so short. They don't do competitive pit stops normally. Normally, they're just whatever place you come in, that's your pit. You leave in the same position. So it's not anything that's super crazy on pit road normally. But Still some pretty good racing to watch these cars. You'll still see these guys cutting that dog leg going 6 and 7 wide down there into turn 1. So, keep an eye. Go keep an eye out on it. Like I said, it's going on right now. If you have access to FS1, you can probably catch it on the Fox Sports app also if you have access to that. So other than that, we're going to jump out of here on this one, and we'll be back later on this week with the preview for the Cup Series race, which is going to be a pretty in-depth race on that broadcast on that one. There's a lot to talk about in the Cup Series right now between injuries and domination and all this stuff. So definitely want to tune in for that one, because like I said, there's going to be quite a bit of information coming out. So other than that, y'all have a good evening, and we'll catch up later in the week.